All right, so that's a great story, brother. I love that. And you use that now, when you're making a decision. Let me think about this. Let me not act out of desperation.
I'm super cautious, bro. Every move.
Yeah, you gotta be. All right, so let's talk about the meat of the podcast, which is you. Tell me what it's like on a day-to-day being an independent artist. How do you choose your music? It comes to you, you got a pen and paper, you write it down, booking studio time, how you pay for that. Do you have a connection there? Do you not? Picking producers, whatever you're comfortable sharing. But this is very, very interesting to me personally.
It's important.
And I think it's going to be interesting to our listeners.
No, for sure, bro. That's such a loaded question, but it has everything. You're covering everything. Your questions are amazing, dog. So in terms of being an independent artist, obviously you don't have a backing of a label, right? You're on your own. Right? I'm not against labels per se. It just has to be a situation that makes sense, And the position of a career I'm in right now, I need to be independent. That's just what has to happen. And with being an independent artist, it's supremely costly, especially I throw my own shows. So
you're essentially raising the capital or using your own capital stack.
Literally.
You are essentially sourcing the promoters.
Yep.
You're sourcing the venue.
Yep.
You're putting it all together on your dime.
Yep.
or your investor's dime.
100%.
And then you're getting paid back through ticket sales. If tickets don't sell, that's all straight to the red, right? It's all an L.
Literally.
Okay.
Literally, bro. So that's, as far as shows goes, that's literally, you laid it out exactly how it goes. In terms of my music output, I've been blessed the last year or two. I've been really, really just working on engineering myself.
When's your next show, by the way?
My next show is November 16th.
November 16th. You can find it on events.com.
Yeah. No, Eventbrite.
Eventbrite. You can find it on Eventbrite. Ignatius, November 16th. Where's it going to be?
It's going to be at Leaf and Light Studios. Leaf and Light Studios is going to be doors open at 7:30 p.m. November 16th, Saturday. Leaf
and Light Studios, doors open at 7 p.m. We're going to put that in the description as well. Up in, where's Leaf and Light Studios?
It's in Pomona.
In Pomona, Ignatius performing. Check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about venues, we talked about shows.
And recording.
So let's talk about that. So how you producing your own stuff,
yes.
Working with a producer, and then how you're going to record and how that, the cost of that, the time, how it works.
So, obviously getting studio time, usually if you're an independent artist, you pay for your own studio time consistently. Hourly rate. It can go from 30 to an hour to 50 to 100. It depends on who it is, really.
Yeah.
And the quality and all that, right? So that's what I've been doing for years, is paying for the hourly rate. Because being an engineer is a whole nother science. But over the course of time, I had a couple of my homies who put me on how to engineer myself and how to really record myself. And I had somebody, shout out to Ernest, who actually, he bought me all this equipment. He bought me a Mac, he bought me a mic.
Shout out Ernest.
Ernest, bro. Real one. He's an A&R over at Atlantic. And he bought me all the equipment because he's like, bro, I believe in you. I think you have what it takes. And yeah, bro, let's do this. So he bought me everything I needed, bro. And so now in the last couple of years, I've just been working. And now I record myself now.
Love it. And that saves you money.
Saves me.
It gives you freedom. So it allows you some freedom from stress of, the finances of having to pay for studio time. And it makes your skill set better over time, right?
Yeah.
You get better at it.
Literally.
And eventually you could potentially use that as an income stream when you bring other artists on, right?
Yeah.
See, my mind is always on business.
No. There's not. No, what you're saying is 100% correct, bro. You spend so much money monthly when you go to a engineer, and when you learn how to engineer yourself, you realize you're more equipped than you think you are. Because in my mind, I never thought I'd be the one to engineer myself or record myself because I thought that stuff was too complex.
You put them on a pedestal.
But yeah, you do, because it's a different work.
Elon Musk talks about that.
Huh.
And he's like, bro, people put me on this pedestal. But he's like, anyone can learn. He's like, I just solve problems. I find the books and I spend all my energy, Ignatius, on solving that problem. I read everything there is to read about it.
Yeah.
And I learn. And then I go do it. Literally, he's like, a lot of people can do a lot of things that they think they can't do by just learning the information and applying it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like, oh, you can never make a beat, by Dr. Dre or whatever. And yeah, he's a special person, but he also, he used Scott Storch for...
He put work in.
He put a lot of work in, but he also used other people and their sort of, genius and collab with them.
Yeah.
And then, he puts a lot of work in. All right, I love that. So we talked about venues. We talked about shows. We talked about recording. How about music? How does it come to you? How do you put it down? How do you remember it? How do you know when you got something you want to record and something you're going to just let go and wait on for a while?
Yeah, no, good question. I write for other people as well. Like I'm also a songwriter behind the scenes for other people. So now that I've been doing that and diving into that realm as well, I write every day. So at least 3 to 4 songs a day, usually now.
When you're doing it, because my buddy Robbie Cobbs, shout out Robbie Cobbs, one of my best friends in the world, just wrote a book. And his thing was you have to take 2 hours a day. I think it was an hour a day or 2 hours a day that he just wrote.
Yeah.
And that was his thing. Is that what you're doing for you too? It's like these 3 hours, or does it come to you? You drop everything when you have a thought?
See, like when I first started doing music, before I was being professional about it, I used to kind of just do when I felt like it, when I felt inspired. But I realized you can't just move off of inspiration. You got to move. You got to just work the muscle, and the inspiration will come and go.
Love it.
Come and go in waves. Like, oh, now I feel it. You got to do. It's like working out or whatever. Like, you don't want to do it on a regular. Nobody wants to do it, but like, of course, when you see, if I watch Gladiator, now I want to go run and go do some crazy push-ups or whatever. But the reality is, I need to. If I'm consistent enough, that inspiration is going to come back around in waves. You know what I mean? And the same thing is with writing. And I just work that muscle.
Eminem works that way. Very famously, right? He works from a certain amount of time in the morning to a certain time in the afternoon. He does his thing, and then he's done.
Yeah. So
that's what you kind of evolved into.
Yeah, every day I'm writing. Every day, 2 or 3 songs a day. And then in terms of the records that what I know is for myself and what's not, I know like the songs I write for other people, they usually have a different kind of feel to it. The ones I keep for myself are usually like it tailors to my actual life.
And as a writer, are you writing songs and then trying to get them in front of artists that you think there will be for?
Yeah. And
then eventually you get to a place where if somebody goes off, now cats are reaching out to you, right?
Yeah, so there's this thing, so a lot of these A&Rs are the people who like kind of put things together, right? So I've been sending a lot of just different they're called reference records, where you write a song that you think will be fit for a certain artist. And I've been sending a bunch of references to A&Rs.
And okay, so what is a song too? So a song, do you record the song? Is it just words on a screen? And guys, forgive me if you know all about this stuff. I don't. I'm learning. This is part of the reason why I have this podcast.
This is important.
Is it words, or is it a demo with a melody and music and you singing the lyrics?
So I have a bunch of different producers I've been working with, like a lot of producers who've written hit records and all that with different people. And I've been blessed that they've been rocking with me. And so what we've been doing is they send me a bunch of beats, and I've really just been doing references and demos, like you said, like a hook, usually hooks, because that's usually what artists usually want more, because they like to write their own verses usually. So I've been doing a lot of hooks and then sending these off to A&Rs.
Got it.
These different labels, and then seeing what fits for what. So
Got it.
That's how
so
we've been moving.
It's essentially the melody, the beat, and a hook that they can essentially then make their own.
Yeah, essentially. But
Got
fits a certain artist, So I've been going ham on that right now.
Cool, man. And where are you focusing right now? Most of your attention, is it more Christian, faith-based? Is it more hip-hop based? Is it more R&B based? Is it soul?
It's a good question. Another good question. I'm a believer, as you know. I'm a very strong believer. I really am. I feel like it reflects in my music, I usually don't like to be put in a box per se, because I don't know. I feel like a box limits you and limits your reach. And my ultimate goal is to reach everybody. You know? So I'm very, very meticulous about how I approach that, but it's definitely gospel based. And I feel like, obviously, I came up in church, man. I came up heavy, and that has no part of that has left me. And it's a reflection on my walk. It's a reflection in my songs, how I talk to people, how I treat people. Like, God is in the center of everything.
Love it, bro.
You know what I mean? So it reflects in my music. But would I call myself a gospel artist? I wouldn't put that title on, but if somebody else wants to put that on me, that's fine. That's on them, but I'm not pushing that as my title.
Understood. All right, but with the music that you're writing now, you're just saying that basically that part of you is coming out constantly.
Yeah, it reflects. That's why when people hear my music, they're like, okay, you probably a believer. Like, it's written all over it.